Noreen, can you hear us?
I can now. Chairman Payne, Chairman Payne,
We have to fix something here. It's not definitely. Now. Now?
Oh, now. Probably get 5 drop brothers. There's no reception in her house. I have perfect at my house. It's Verizon. Like, if I'm in her house, there's one more. I don't get it.
They're active.
There's no mountain, there's no steel. Electrical. Yeah, but they're not, there's nobody here.
Can you hear us now, Noreen?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
no problem. For attendance, Chairman Payne,
Here.
Commissioner Claffey,
Here.
Commissioner Haggerty,
Here.
Commissioner Havens,
Here.
Commissioner Linares,
Here.
Commissioner Trister,
Here.
Commissioner Woods,
Here.
Commissioner Braverman, Commissioner Droz,
Here.
Commissioner Gill.
Here.
You're all set.
Thank you, Noreen.
You're welcome.
There's no changes in the agenda, I believe.
No changes to the agenda.
So we're all set. We're going to go to public participation. If there's anybody either here present or online that would like to speak to us, please, within the Zoom application, raise your hand if you'd like to participate during public participation. If calling in to Zoom meeting by telephone, dial *9 to raise your hand to be recognized. Use *6 to recognize by speaker by telephone. Is there anybody on with their hand up?
No one has their hand up.
Okay, hearing nobody from the public, we'll go to remarks by commissioners. Any commissioners have any remarks, comments? Hearing none, we're going to go to our public hearing, first public hearing, and I'm going to ask the secretary to read the procedures for the public hearing, please.
Certainly. Procedures for public hearings. The order of proceedings at public hearings shall be as follows. A, convening by chairperson. B, reading of the notice by the commission secretary or commissioner designated by the chairperson to act in their stead. C, presentation by applicant. D, town planner report on the application. E, persons wishing to speak in favor of the application, limited to 3 minutes per person. F, persons wishing to speak in opposition to the application, limited to 3 minutes per person. G, rebuttal by the applicant, limited to 5 minutes total. During a public hearing, it shall be within the discretion of the chairperson whether the time limitations should be varied slightly, provided the commission consents to any such variance by a majority vote.
Okay, thank you very much. Our first petition, public hearing is petition 24-22, special permit, section 5.2.7, to modify an existing freestanding sign to allow for LED prices at 295 North Main Street. Applicant Kara Kennedy, owner 295 Main Street, Newington LLC, contact Kara Kennedy, continued from June 8th, 2022. I think this is pretty simple. I'll have Renata fill us in on it. I believe this along with a couple other ones were not advertised properly, so that's why they're been continued.
In part, that's correct, Mr. Chair. Is the applicant present in the room, Eric?
I do not see Kara Kennedy. In the
I see her in attendees.
I see
Somebody has
somebody.
raised the hand, so.
Go ahead and speak.
Good evening, this is John Leclerc of Station Grove, New England.
Okay. You're just labeled as a Zoom user here, so that's why. All right. So are you representing the application for the LED pricing?
That is correct, I am.
Okay.
So if you want, I can take it, and then if you don't mind, just chime in, please. So the way this was left off, first off, the hearing was continued in part because my office did not send out abutters notices in time. The other issue here was that in our review, our staff noticed that in 1991, there was a special permit that was granted for the conversion of mini mart, which included 4 conditions. And one of those conditions limited the total allowed signage on this property to 76 square feet. We currently do not have a count as to how much of signage exists on this property. So that was an information that we requested be provided to us. And this was requested on, I believe, May 20 by email. And then there was a follow-up phone call, I believe, to the representative of the applicant. The other piece of information that we were seeking was what were the dimension of the sign, of the actual sign that was going to be converted from non-LED signage to LED signage. So those 2 pieces of information we felt were important for commission to know before we would be able to recommend to proceed.
Thank
And I
you.
believe the applicant's representative may have answers for that for you tonight.
Okay, thank you, Renata. The applicant would like to fill us in.
I'm sorry, my apologies, my phone went on mute for me. So we're going with exactly the same footprint that's there for the actual signage. I did get a notice that there is a cardboard car wash sign that somebody had added to the bottom of the sign. That will be removed. Exxon and Mobil do not allow those signs to be on there. So we'll have to remove them regardless. So that's going to be gone. And we're going to stay within the actual signage that was allowed originally.
Can you state your name again for the record? I'm sorry.
Yes, my name is John Leclerc,
John Leclerc.
And you are with?
Station Globe, New England.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Anything else?
Satisfied.
Any questions from the commissioners? Paper copy. Any questions from the commissioners? We'll go to the public. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of this application?
There's no one with their hand up on Zoom.
Anybody wishing to speak in favor? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition of this application? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Does the applicant have anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I feel like this is pretty clean cut. We're just trying to go from one brand to another.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, commissioners, I'd entertain somebody to close this petition 24-22 and move it to old business. So moved. Motion made by Commissioner Havens. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Haggerty. Any comments? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously to close petition 24-22 and move to old business. Commissioner Lenars, could you read our next petition, petition 2822, please?
Petition 28-22, special permit, section 3.23.1B. An accessory outside use to allow a tent event for fireworks sales at 95 Fen Road, applicant Keystone Novelty Distributors LLC. Owner 95 Fen Road LLC, contact Alex Mutzabaugh, continued from June 8th, 2022.
Once again, we had most of the presentation last meeting. Everything was pretty straightforward on this. I don't think there's anything new. The abutters have been notified now.
The abutters have been notified and the applicant has satisfied our comments. There were some comments that at the time were outstanding with regards to revising plans to show certain distances around the tent. We also recommended certain conditions with regards to placement of the tent and 20-foot radius around it. And then there was a comment that was needed to be addressed by the fire marshal with regards to distance to the junction. So the applicant has addressed those on revised plans.
Right, which is up on the screen now.
Okay, very good. Any questions from the commissioners? Does the applicant have anything that you'd like to add? Is the applicant on?
Let me just. Mr. Lambert, are you here? Yeah.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Just go ahead and state your name for the record.
Keith Lambert, Keystone Fireworks.
Just thought I'd double check with you to see if you want to add anything or are you all
No, I
set?
think we're good. It's pretty straightforward. You know, we updated the map, like Renata had mentioned, and I believe that everything is in compliance. We just need to have our inspection done once the tent and all the product is displayed, and then we will be, we should be good to go.
Okay, very good. At this time, we'll open it up to the public. Is there anybody either here or online wishing to speak in favor of this application?
No one has their hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody wishing to speak in favor? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition, please come forward. Hearing none, without any objection, I'll ask for a motion to close and move to old business.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Commissioner Woods to close and move to old business. Do I have a second?
Second?
Seconded by Commissioner Havens. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously to move to old business. Next public hearing on a petition is petition 29-22. If Commissioner Drodes could read that for us, I'd appreciate it.
Petition 29-22, special permit, section 3.23.1.b. An accessory outside to use and allow a tent event for fireworks sales at 205 Kelsey Street. Applicant Keystone Novelty Distributors LLC. Owner Reno Properties II LLC. Contact Alan Mutzabaugh. Continued from June 8th, 2002.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Same thing here. Butters have been notified. Renata, have they complied with everything on this location for you?
Yes, this is the same situation as the previous application. The applicant complied, provide revised plans. On revised plans, they have addressed all of the staff comments to our satisfaction, and we recommend approval.
Very good. Any questions from the commissioners? We'll go straight to the public. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of this application, please come forward. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of this application? Nobody with their hand.
No one's in the room that has their hand raised.
Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Please come forward. Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close petition 29-22 and move to old business.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Havens. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Haggerty. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we're in new business. We have petition 27-22, site plan modifications of the existing parking lot, loading docks and lighting at 65 Homes Road, applicant BL Companies Incorporated, owner 65 Homes Investment Partners LLC, contact Kevin Hickson. The applicant here?
I know, this is interesting. You have to somehow use this microphone.
Yes. I put the stand behind the table there because the camera's gonna track over there.
My name is Kevin Hickson, Senior Project Manager at BL Companies, located at 355 Research Parkway, Meriden, Connecticut. This is a site parking lot modification with a 117,270 square foot warehouse building. It's actually two tenants that are in there. One being Amazon, the other one being used to be the Sears scratch and dent. Now I think it's the Sears generic scratch and dent tenant. It's a 9.04 acre parcel. Existing spaces there now are 104 spaces for this, and there's two entrances into the site. As you can see here in the Gas pass is at the south end of the existing site. There is 333, yeah. Site plan modifications. Essentially, we're adding concrete for the loading docks. Right now, it's just asphalt. We're also adding a couple of additional, I think it's 8 loading dock doors on the building. So the building's not expanding in size, but we're making the modifications for these additional loading dock spaces that are on the east side. As you wrap around the east, that'd be the north side of the building. As you wrap around the east side of the building, this is where the entrance to the building will be. We added with the revised plan set that we sent to the town last week, we are adding a ramp and stairs.
Kevin,
Yes.
with your permission, I think we're going to display plans online.
Okay. Perfect.
And because public needs to see as well what you're showing, and I think commission really has hard time seeing at the distance like this.
Okay.
The one question for you is which plans?
These are not the revised ones. These are the ones dated May 17th.
So we're showing the May 17th plan. You are showing the revised set of plans, right?
Yes.
So as we are displaying the sheet, if you want to just point out the things that are different, because the things that are on screen will be different than what you are showing.
Correct. So on the, yeah, if you want to go to the site plan.
Yeah. Oh, this is a survey.
The survey we did, I don't know if you want me to talk about the survey we did, update the building square footage. It was 127,447, and we updated that to 117,227 square feet. There was a 10,000 square foot addition on the west end that was removed, and so that just reduced the square footage overall. And on the site plan that you see there, what we have are, if you think about it, on the east side, which is on the right side right there, there will be associate parking spaces there. The entrance to the building, to the Amazon facility, will be on the east side. And the difference on the revised plans is that we've added a ADA switchback ramp that gets you up to that level, in addition to the stairs. And then the handicap spaces, as you see there, still remain the same as provided. And then the difference on the north side between this plan and the updated plan are the addition of concrete, basically concrete, heavy duty concrete pavement that would occupy the 18 loading dock doors. And then the, it's like a rectangle just north of the 18 lower docks heading. That's a post indicator valve. I was in contact with the deputy fire marshal. Still want to get final confirmation from the fire marshal that we can remove them. Basically, they're post indicator valves for 2 fire lines that service both tenants to the building right now. So that's it with the site.
You want to remove them?
What's that?
They're standoffs?
They're
Feeding the-
post indicator valves, so they're not even like a hydrant. There's a water meter pit at the north side. There's a water line that goes straight up to Holmes Road, so that's all, you know, intact. There's, you know, the sprinkler inside the building. We sent the deputy fire marshal the pictures of the sprinkler inside the building. So he was just wanted to have an understanding of what it was. And so my thought was not to interrupt the service, put in valve box or shutoffs at that location where the rectangle is. We could even keep it striped if you want, just so that the fire department knows where the shutoff is. But basically to remove that and the bollards that are associated with it, because there are bollards that are surrounding these post indicator valves. It just guess at one time they had it indicated in there, and in talking with the landowner, you know, he was fine with having those removed. But again, I'll get final confirmation from the fire marshal.
So would they still act as a shutoff or not?
Yeah, they would.
So wouldn't you still want to protect them?
Oh, yeah.
So why would you?
Well, no, they're at grade instead of being up above, because they're about like 3.5 feet above. And that's why they have the bollards around it. But the switch would be to a valve box that's flush with grade. You know, like a typical.
Yep, okay. Okay. Thank you.
I think we can move to. That is it. Just to describe to you, on the west side of the building, there is some additional parking that we're providing for just regular parking spaces, and then west of that area there will be some or actually box truck parking spaces that will be over there, located over there. So access from that parking space to the north side of the building, we've added in a sidewalk, an existing sidewalk, plus a proposed sidewalk that gets you. There's another entrance that's there right now. That'll be a secondary entrance to the building. It's on the north side. So you can see the hand right there as you make your way and go east to the right. There's a switchback ramp that gets you up to that 4-foot level because it'll load you. I don't know if you have any questions on.
Well, does the staff have anything to add, or have they complied with everything that is needed?
Well, yes, I mean, we have one comment, which is a condition to be placed on the approval, because they're required to keep screening for loading dock doors. And there is currently screening existing on site. So we will just recommend certain language to ensure that screening remains.
For screening the loading docks?
Yes.
How are they screened now?
We have zoning regulation that requires that the commission reviews and approves any loading dock doors facing public street to be screened. They currently have trees. There are about 10 trees that line up Holmes Road that screen these new loading dock doors that they're proposing. It's going to be important in the future that they maintain that screening. That's
Okay.
one thing of relevance, I think, going forward with this.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Claffey, did you have a question?
So we're gonna ask, I know this building pretty well. So the screening is at Holmes Road?
Yes.
The existing, you see the trees up here.
They go across the whole thing, so we're gonna add them to add more to a building that's already has screening completely across the front of it on the street.
No, there is already screening, and I think we should just we need to include the language that they have to maintain that screen.
They have to
But maintain it, but not
maintain-
add anymore to it.
Maintain the existing screening.
We are adding actually 3 honey locust trees on there.
I'm looking at that, we're not imposing to add more for a building that already, you're not adding any bigger building, you're just cutting 8 doors in. That's why I just want to make sure we're not imposing more.
They're proposing, we did not really ask for new trees, and I don't think that we should.
Gotcha.
I
That's,
think it's just important to make sure that these trees don't
Stay.
get neglected.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay,
Very good.
gotcha. Thank you.
Any other comments from the commissioners? Okay. No other questions? Thank you very much. Entertain a motion, well, it's already on old business. We have to move, I entertain a move it to old business.
Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Commissioner Woods. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Claffey to move this petition 27 to 22 to old business for action tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next thing on the agenda is petition 30-22. Commissioner Woods, if you could read that for me, I appreciate it.
22 site plan modification to modify the access from Hartford Avenue at 4 Hartford Avenue. Applicant DYJ LLC, owner DYJ LLC, contact J.Y. Shallow.
Is the applicant here?
Yes, we are.
Could briefly tell us approximately what is going on the property and what you're looking for modification? We'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. For the record, my name is Brandon Hanfield with Yannick River Consultants. I'm a professional engineer licensed in the state of Connecticut. And I'm here representing Jawa Shallow and DYJ LLC. I'll keep my presentation brief. There's not a lot of changes to what you approved in 2020. But if it helps, I do have some quick graphics to kind of walk through what the site plan changes are. And if
Go ahead and take the screen if you need to, Brandon.
Great, thank you, Eric. Right. All right, so you should be seeing my screen now. What you have in front of you, this is the site plan that was approved in 2020, June 10th, 2020 by the commission. Just to orient ourselves, the site is located to the north of Hartford Avenue or Route 176 and to the east of Main Street. So it's right in that intersection of those two roads. In 2020, a proposed gas station and convenience store was approved by the commission. And after that, about 6 months after that, we went to the DOT and submitted our plan for encroachment permit review. During that review, the DOT had some comments on how the access functioned to their state road. So what I'll do is I'll show you what was approved, and I just outlined the area of the site in question in red here. And what you see is we had a single exit lane that could turn right or left onto Hartford Avenue. And then we had a single entrance lane where people could traveling northeast or southwest could turn into the site. And the reason we had two separate lanes was we wanted to preserve an existing curved island that had a major utility pole with three-phase service and a significant amount of telecom on it. So that island is right here. So this is the site plan that was approved and the Mylars that were filed. What you see, and it should scroll over so you can kind of see the change as we go to the next sheet outlined in green. What happened was the DOT wanted a right turn out only lane onto their road. And in addition to that, they wanted that right turn out lane to handle the WB67 or tractor trailer truck that delivers fuel to the site. So to do that, the pavement width itself got wider, and we put a geometrically restrictive angle on the road to discourage people from turning left onto the state road. We maintain the island, we maintain the utility pole, but again, if I go back, you can see the change. The inbound lane basically stays the same, and the outbound lane changes in geometry, and we have a striped area. So what we gave the DOT was a WB 67 turning plan. So this shows the tractor trailer truck traveling south on Main Street, turning left into our site without fouling any curbs, traversing the site, and then exiting in a right turn fashion onto their road. Again, the rear wheel drag wheel does not foul our curb, and the front wheel does not go over the center line of Route 176. So that is the reason the site plan changed in terms of geometry of that exit lane. All of the changes were within the state's right of way. So no changes to parking, no changes to the internal configuration of the site. And I think you can see that by looking between the two, this is the 2020, this is the 2022, nothing changes except for that exit lane. Sorry, switch pages on here, but there we go. So that's the long story short. Happy to answer any questions that you may have, but again, a minor change related to the DOT's comments, and they were satisfied in April of 2021 with this plan.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the commissioners? Any questions? Renata, anything else you'd like to add, or?
Eric will comment on this.
Again, this is basically driven by DOT and purview over their state road, and the changes are minor in nature and really don't affect the on-site. It's really just the access to and from the site. I see no reason why it shouldn't be approved.
Very good. Thank you, Eric. I'll entertain a motion to move petition 30-22 to old business.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Havens. Second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Claffey. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Our next petition is petition 33-22, special permit, section 5.39, site plan modifications to replace the excess parking areas with landscaping, to relocate dumpster locations and other appurtenances, and to modify the site circulation at 96 to 100 Payne Road, previously approved as a residential portion of 3333 Berlin Turnpike. Applicant HJG-PC Newington Investor LLC, owner the Rocky River Realty Company. Contact Jamie Anderson.
Jeff Dugan with GL Companies and with me tonight.
You can actually, you got your Zoom invite, just log into Zoom and you can do your presentation and it'll pop right up on the screen.
I apologize, I didn't expect to be up so fast this evening. It was assigned to the agenda.
That's what we're moving things along.
I see, I'm very invested. I apologize for holding you up. I get my laptop again. Pleasantly surprised. Sure, no. Looking online at the agenda was quite intense looking.
Just a lot of brief, not major changes, correct?
Yeah, no, there are minor revisions that we went through the, design development, really trying to do the final residential, this side of the residential development. Part of the development, all basically the curb alignment, for the most part, everything stays the same. The buildings have gotten a little bit smaller, trying to make them more efficient. The number of units stays the same. And we're really just trying to, create an intimate experience for the people once they get there. Obviously, you've got the nice commercial development, to the east, things like the existing. provide an experience for them as you come up Payne Road. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to see the plans yet. But there's a gateway, you come up Payne Road and, we're working with Freeman Companies as our landscape architect, and they suggested putting, kind of like a gateway element as you come up off of the road next to the detention basin there. It's just, it's kind of a feature. It's flush to the ground. You have the fire department, they can drive straight through it, but there'll be a little sign there that directs everyone to which building, which of the 3 buildings are going to be there. So, trying to take advantage of the changed parking requirements to really benefit that residential experience by reducing the that we have down to based on 30 projects. We partnered with Grossman before with commercial and Shrewsbury, Mass. Based on our experience, 1.5 to 1 on this type of development is the ratio that we targeted. We were able to get 404 parking spaces in total, and that's above the required 402 from the requirements from the town. So we met with the fire department, talked about circulation. There used to be a road that cut through between the northern 2 buildings. And it really kind of separated the experience. Building, what we're calling building 1, which is the one to the northeast, has an amenity space outside, and really trying to kind of provide some connectivity between the northern 2 buildings, provide some green spaces for people to, play cornhole or go outside and, work remotely, play with their kids, those types of things. And once the drawings come up, we've prepared some renderings. Hopefully you'll get to see it because it's totally changed the feel of the experience for the residents. I think.
And the reduction of parking is just the deferred parking area that we allowed to be deferred if not needed. Correct, Renata?
Yes, that is correct.
I'm sorry, what was it?
That's our Eric answered.
It was about deferred parking.
They're only eliminating parking spaces in the deferred area.
Yes, so when this application was originally approved, we had a provision in our parking requirements that allowed a deferred construction of parking. But our required formula for parking was quite higher. We required, I believe, like 2 parking spaces for each apartment. We have since revised our parking requirements to be much lower, and it's in compliance with the state statutes. And also it's much closer to what their actual needs are. So with that in mind.
Do we figure 1.6? Is that correct, or what does the state use?
No, it is one space. Our regulations right now are we require 1 space for any 1-bedroom apartment and 2 spaces for 2 or any more than 2-bedroom places.
And you feel confident from managing your previous complexes with the proposed?
I have the plans that I can.
With your proposed
I can
parking
try and work
count,
with you.
correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The new,
Or if you have it up, I can certainly share.
Presentation set up that. That's right, we can work without it. I don't know why it's not working, but.
Okay.
It says I'm connected, but there's no internet.
That's okay. We all have plans here. I think we can manage.
Right. And
so let me walk you through real quick on, there's a parking table that we provided, and we'll circulate the
do you want me to put up the comparison plan for whatever you guys want? I'll work with this. Just.
Oh, that'd be fabulous. We can start there, but just to circle back to the parking question, which is really the relevant one, I think that you had asked was, do we feel comfortable? Absolutely. Based on our experience, 1.5 in some urban environments, we go down all the way to 0.75, but at 1.5, we have, room for visitors, for staff. And not to mention, there's a plethora of parking all around in the commercial space. Not that we feel we need it, but we didn't want to be overparked. And really the goal was to create that intimate experience. And on the site plans, once we get to it, we tried to create on the ground floor units in some of those landscaped areas that we were able to gain around the building. Try to create some garden terrace patios. So if you wanted a patio space, you know, you have an enclosed space that you can sit outside and kind of enjoy the, you know.
That's nice.
So basically what we did is you can see here, and I apologize for the light green, it's kind of hard to see. So the light green represents what we're proposing as part of our changes in the project. The dark, the black is what is the approved that's filed in the town land records. And right where we're at, thank you so much, Eric, for running this for me. As you can see, in the dark black, between the two residential buildings, 1 and 2 before was an access drive through there, and there was parking, and we've been able to make that a green space and add a sidewalk. Just to the right of that, you can see we expanded the pool deck in light green compared to what was there before, and added a couple of outbuildings for the pool and what have you. Working our way down page or south of the site, we slid the building number 1 down and to the left a little bit. So we were able to add a little more green space around the building. To the left, we took out some of the parking. It's really hard to see. You can kind of see the edge of pavement lines here and here, but we took the parking out and added more green space as well there. So as far as the garages, they stayed essentially the same. And working our way farther south down the page, you can see there's the parking that we removed, had additional green space to increase the, as Eric was saying, the residential experience. And right here, you can see kind of the green circle that's in the middle of the thing. So basically, it's not a roundabout. It kind of looks like one, but so that will be just a ground feature with cobblestones or painted or what have you. So basically what we're trying to attain here is to get a traffic calming situation where you drive in, and everybody has been through a roundabout in the past, so they know, they slow down a little bit to understand how to get around it. And that's what we're trying to induce here, is as you're pulling into the residential site, is to slow down and start paying attention to what's going on around you.
And there'll still be a gateway sign there?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's hard to reach, but.
Yeah.
So there will be a gateway sign right here at the proposed island location.
Yep.
And then you can see from the previous design, there was parking, was double-ended parking to the south of this building. This drawing is depicted as building 1. And basically what we've shown is the curb line extended to where, you know, the limit of those parking spaces was. And we were able to pull the landscape, the sidewalk away from the building, put it all the way, you know, at the curb line, and create a bunch of green space that we were able to utilize as, you know, space for condensers and space for patio units on the ground floor. So the other thing that is important to note, I think, is we honored the limited disturbance. We didn't make any changes to the shape or the outline of that detention basin. All the changes were made, you know, to the east of that. You know, we really tried to eliminate these parking spaces, create some more green space, and really, you know, circulation wise now, we have a straight shot to the commercial development down in south here. There's two access points coming from the commercial through the residential. This is a secondary one. So now it flows nicely through this gateway feature. And then to the north, you can see from the commercial, this would be the main connectivity heading all the way to the east of the commercial. And that stayed the same for the most part. We have to make a minor adjustment to the shape of the island, the width of it, so it's consistent with the width on this one. And we're able to shift the parking away from the building and create some more green space around the side of the building. The access between the two buildings, between buildings 2 and 3 on this plan, used to be head-end parks, and it just really kind of, you know, made it difficult for that connection to the amenity space, which is what we tried to create. I'm not sure if the other plan with the proposed landscape render drawings in there. Sure. Might be easier to. SB1. There we go. Here you can see a little clearer where we've landed with it. You can see some of the garden style units, sprinkled around the buildings. Here's that circulation road where it used to be a road going between. It kind of creates this connectivity between buildings 3 and buildings 1. There'll be a nice green space here, for families or individuals to read, and just there'll be another, secondary amenity space for this particular building. So, while the main leasing office will be in this northeasternmost building, it's important for us to have kind of a space for each of the buildings work for themselves. So that was really the driving motivation, really, to minimize the amount of parking based on our needs and the town's requirements, and just really try to create a residential scale. I think the other thing that we had talked about was potentially shifting the dumpster location to there. And further discussion, and I appreciate the feedback there. I think where we initially showed it was here, which allowed for better access. Working with waste management to come up with a way of managing the trash for the residential side of the development. I think that's probably a more appropriate location where initially it was shown and approved. But I think those are the changes, and it's unfortunate you weren't able to see the renderings. I'll send them to Renata, and hopefully you guys can take a look at it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and ask. We're really excited about this. We look to start construction on building 1, which is the northeast one, which has the leasing space and the amenity space. We're looking to break ground on the building. It'll be pad ready, middle of October. So 12-month build period. By the end of next year, we're hoping to have residents in building 1, and be approximately a 22-month build for the entire project, with site work starting in about a month.
So I brought up the landscaping plan. I don't know if you want to discuss it, but just so they can get an idea. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, this, you can see, and there's a rendered color version of this, which, really, there's a rendering of the patio spaces, which you can see individual units, and it just provides kind of a really unique experience for people to come home after a long day of work and just sit down and relax and enjoy the sun. Southern exposure here, nice sunsets to the west there. And it just really ties the whole development together with the commercial opportunity to go get a bite to eat, or go shopping at the grocery store there. It's,
Very good. Thank you very much. Any questions from the commissioners? Renata, do you have anything else you'd like to add, or Eric?
No, Chair, I would like to say that I personally like very much the changes that they proposed. We have some very minor outstanding comments. We are prepared to recommend that Commission approves this, subject to staff modifications. The engineer has commented to add some notes. There will, we will need to confirm that no changes will be made to the stormwater management report, etc. And our main comment really had to do with location of this dumpster area, which was a little bit inefficient.
Actually, the engineering probably is improved because there's less pavement area.
We agree.
So,
We agree,
so
and the engineering does agree as well.
Okay,
Right.
good.
So it's just a matter of jiving what's on the plans with what's on
right.
the engineering reports. But aside from those like minor comments, we all, I think, on the staff level like this.
Okay, it's a very nice plan and some nice improvements. I like the extra green space. I think it's going to be a big benefit to the people living there, making it a nice project. I'll ask one last time if there's any other questions from the commissioners. Hearing none, without any objection, I'll entertain a motion to move petition 33-22 to old business. Motion made by Commissioner Woods. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Havens. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries to move this to old business for tonight. Thank you very much. Okay, we're in old business now. And our first petition is petition 24-22, special permit, section 5.2.7 to modify an existing freestanding sign to allow for LED prices at 295 Main Street. Applicant Kara Kennedy, owner 295 Main Street, Newington LLC. Contact Kara Kennedy. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to continue the public hearing for petition 20, I think we closed this, this is wrong, right?
If I can interject. So our motion was to continue the hearing because we did not know whether or not we will have the information that was provided to you tonight. Considering that the applicant's representative has on the record stated that some signage will be removed, that the signage on site will not exceed what was approved, meaning 76 approved square feet, and that the dimensions of the signage, LED signage, will not exceed what's existing on the signage, I feel confident that you could approve that with conditions as stated on the record, that the signage doesn't exceed what's approved and the dimensions don't exceed what's on LED.
I'll give it a whack. Move to approve petition 24-22, special permit, section 5.2.7 to modify an existing freestanding sign to allow for LED prices at 295 North Main Street. Although I don't think we have a North Main Street. I think it's Main Street. Just Main Street.
Yeah.
Applicant Kara Kennedy, owner 295 Main Street, Newington LLC. Contact Kara Kennedy. Again, conditions, one, that the square footage of the signs does not exceed 76 square feet. And the sign, what was the second one?
The conversion
Conversion.
of the signage to LED does not exceed the existing signage that's being converted. I don't even know how to say this, but the existing sign to be converted does not increase.
Okay. The existing square footage of the sign or the LED sign does not expand.
And the removal of the car wash sign, he said they were gonna do.
Okay, and then the third item, the removal of the existing car wash sign should not be attached to this sign.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second?
So seconded by Commissioner Havens. Any discussion on the motion? If there's no discussion, if there's no objection, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next petition is petition 28-22. I'll entertain a motion for 95 Fen Road.
Motion to approve petition 28-22, special permit, section 3.23.1.b. An accessory outside use to allow a tent event for fireworks sales at 95 Fen Road. Applicant Keystone Novelty Distributors, LLC. Owner 95 Fen Road, LLC. Contact Alec Mutsuba. This approval is granted subject to the conformance with the submitted plans as may be modified by the commission and this approval, and the following conditions and modifications. Conditions: 1, the tent shall be installed not more than 5 days prior to the commencement of the retail sales activity and shall be removed no later than July 10, 2022. 2, temporary signage shall only be installed in accordance with this application in section 6.2.2I. 3, all supplies, products, and related materials shall be kept within the tent at all times. 4, all comments provided by the fire marshal on June 7, 2022 shall be satisfied.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Commissioner Haggerty. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Very good. And our next petition is
29.2.
29-22. I'll entertain a motion for 205 Kelsey Street.
I make a motion to approve petition 29-22 special permit, section 3.23.1.b. An accessory outside use to allow a tent event for fireworks sales at 205 Kelsey Street. Applicant Keystone Novelty Distributors LLC. Owner 95 Fen Road LLC. Contact Alex Witzeball.
If I may, I'm sorry, the owner for that is Reno Properties, not 95 Penn Road. Just so we're clear.
Owner Reno Properties.
It's on here.
Novelty Distributors LLC. Owner Reno Properties. Contact Alex Witzeball. This approval is granted subject to conformance with the submitted plans as may be modified by the commission in this approval. And the following condition modifications. 1, the tent shall be installed not more than 5 days prior to the commencement of the retail sales activity and shall be removed no later than July 10th, 2022. 2, temporary signage shall only be installed in accordance with this application in section 6.2.2.I. 3, all supplies, products, and related materials shall be kept within the tent at all times. And 4, all comments provided by the fire marshal on June 7th, 2022 shall be satisfied.
Very good. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Havens. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Our next petition on old business is petition 30-22, site plan modifications to modify the access from Hartford Avenue at 4 Hartford Avenue, applicant DJY LLC, owner DYJ LLC, contact Jawa Shalom. I'll entertain a motion for Hartford Avenue 30-22.
Make a motion to approve petition 30-22, site plan modification to modify the access from Hartford Avenue at 4 Hartford Avenue. Applicant owner DYJ LLC, contact Jawa Shalom. This approval is granted subject to the conformance with reference plans as may be modified by the commission and this approval. Referenced plans, gas station and convenience store, site development plans, 4 Hartford Avenue, Newington, Connecticut. Map 04, block 177, lot 00A, prepared by the Yantic River Consultants, dated 3/20/2020, revised 11/4/2021, sheets 1 through 7 inclusive.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We're going to go back to petition 27-22, 65 Holmes Road. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I make a motion to approve petition 27-22, site plan modification of the existing parking lot, loading docks, and lighting at 65 Holmes Road. Applicant BL Companies Incorporated. Owner 65 Holmes Investment Partners LLC. Contact Kevin Hickson. This approval is granted subject to the conformance with referenced plans as may be modified by the commission in this approval and the following conditions modifications. Reference plans, site plan modification, 65 Holmes Road, prepared by BL Companies, dated 5/17/2022, revised 6/16/2022, sheets 1 through 4 inclusive. Conditions: 1, the final plans shall be revised as follows. A, to address any outstanding comments from the town engineer. B, to reflect the correct location of the inland, wetland, upland review area. C, to edit the parking table on sheet AL-1 to replace the term provided with existing. D, to include a note to indicate that the 10 established trees along Holmes Road are to remain per section 4.3.2B. 2, prior to the commencement of site work, an agent approved
An agent approval for work to be conducted within the southeast corner of the property shall be obtained from the town's inland wetland agent.
Motion made and seconded by Commissioner Woods. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, our next petition for old business is petition 33-22, special permit, section 5.3.9. Site plan modifications to reduce the excess parking areas with landscaping to relocate dumpster locations and other apparatus and to modify the site circulation at 96 to 100 Payne Road, previously approved as the residential portion of 3333 Berlin Turnpike. Applicant HJGPC Newington Investor LLC. Owner, the Rocky River Realty Company. Contact Jamie Anderson. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and finish it, Mr. Chairman. This approval is granted subject to the performance of referred reference plans as may be modified by the commission in this approval and the following conditions: reference plan, site plan modification, application documents for the proposed Meadow Commons 3333 Berlin Turnpike, Newington, Connecticut, prepared by BL Companies dated 6/10/2022, sheets 1 through 7 inclusive. Conditions: satisfy all comments from the Planning and Zoning Office in a letter dated June 14th, 2022, and satisfy all comments from the town engineer in a letter dated June 22nd, 2022.
Motion made by Commissioner Woods. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Havens. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Good luck. Congratulations.
Great project.
Thank you. Yep. Okay, the next things on our list, we have petitions for public hearing scheduling. I'm not sure if our town planner has anything to talk about that.
We scheduled last time.
Okay, very good. Next thing on our agenda is the town planner's report. She's going to talk about the future agenda form.
So, yes, I will. I will talk about future agenda form. So next meeting is looking like a good sort of policy meeting. We will have a couple of regulation amendments that we will be looking at. One is going to be to revise zoning regulations for those pesky mechanical units that the ZBA has always like a lot of business with. And the other one will be to revisit the cannabis regulation with regards to that overconcentration of cannabis businesses in lieu of this sort of sneaky thing that state did with the law that they changed. In addition to that, I also wanted to bring to you the group that I maybe 2 months ago, I was invited into a web meeting of a group called Greater Hartford Mobility Study Group. And this is a group that is commissioned. They're a contractor or consultant for a DOT. They're doing a mobility study, and this is like a multi-year project study that is undergoing. And they did presentation. Gary was invited and I was invited for like the first time. So as I sat in that meeting and they were talking about certain alternatives that they were going to seek public input from, they referenced certain things, certain alternatives in Newington. Now, this is a planning study. This is not anything that's happening tomorrow. But as they were talking about that, I kind of figured that it would be pertinent to bring them to you and actually have them present this study and these potential alternatives to Planning Commission. So they will be coming on the 13th and talking to you and seeking some input from you, some comments on their alternatives. So that's going to happen at the next meeting as well. And then also at the next meeting, I will present to you the report that we presented to the town council at the last council meeting regarding the grant that I was able to secure for Newington Junction Historic Study. We got $10,000 planning grant. We finished report, and I'm going to talk to you about that report, the findings, some recommendations, and the future stuff on that. So I think that's all going to happen at the next meeting.
Fantastic. Any questions for Renata?
Oh, I forgot. We're also going to talk about B-zone because I was able to make some move on that. So the business zone changes and some kind of plan of action for the zoning regulation planning changes with regards to that. I want to do outreach. So I was thinking about, once we start really doing the comprehensive changes to the zoning regulation, one way to do it is to organize them in a section when we look at business zones together. But those changes are going to be pretty consequential and pretty big. And we want to do them in a way that involves people that are other people than just us. Right, because we can't figure it out. And even when we involve people other than us, we're still going to face challenges and make mistakes, make things that we're going to be like, oh my God, how did I not think about that? So we're going to talk about all that a little bit more. But one of the things that I was thinking about was, we will need to talk about a good way to reach out to business community, small business community and large business community, which is different. Like me reaching out to people who own businesses in PD zone is different than me reaching to people that own small businesses on Stoddard Avenue or New Britain and Maple Hill intersection. It's just different kind of businesses there. So we'll talk about all that next time.
Fantastic. Okay, next thing is communications. West Hartford TOD update?
Yes, so I only sent you that little newspaper article because West Hartford has a whole entire page posted dedicated to their TOD. And you can go on their website and do a lot of research, but that would have been 200 pages. And I wasn't going to send you that on their TOD when, I could send you that on our TOD. If you're really that into research, I'd rather do that on our stuff.
Okay.
But their planner told me that the initiative on their TOD goes back about 10 years. It includes things that revolve around the road diet. They wanted to fix their zoning. In 2020, they adopted the POCD, and they, at that time, decided that this was a priority to have this TOD in this area. They have some auto-related uses. They reached out to business community. The business community somehow agreed to make itself non-conforming. So what they didn't do an overlay, which is what I am thinking we should do in Newington Junction. They did an outright zoning. So what that means for those car repairs, auto body shops, they make them non-conforming businesses. But they also invested $5 million. They're going to be investing about $5 million in various improvements in pedestrian, bike lane, the road diet stuff and public infrastructure type of stuff in order to complement this TOD stuff. So it kind of goes hand in hand. And one of the messages that came from this is if you're serious about TOD, you have to think from it two-way. You have to think on zoning end and you have to think from money end. So, and it has to be from the public end money and private end money. You have to make it incentivized from private development. And then the municipality needs to kind of be willing to put some money in towards it as well.
Where's the 5 million coming from, the state?
State and federal grants and all kinds of other stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
I only brought it
And
up,
as Hartford is, they've got money.
I mean, I only brought it up last meeting because it is not too many blocks when you look at their little map.
Not far from ours.
And it's, I mean, 2 blocks, 3 blocks most from Newington, where we have our TOD that abuts
I
it.
know.
And, I think it's been we've been very quiet on it, but with all the development that has come through our commission, I think it's something to watch. I mean, if I've been watching it over that area and I've watched them push businesses out that they don't want anymore.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's something in our TOD. I agree with you. I want the overlay to give the option if something at this time isn't ready to come into this area, but something else is. If you have the overlay, it gives you a little more versatility for what you said, like bringing the businesses in and bringing the developer in. You can't have just one. You need both.
So our area is set different. Where their area is, they're on a arterial road, they're on a wide arterial road, and they have sort of commercial area. Now where we are front residential and in the back is industrial. If we're looking at Newington, if we're looking at on Newington Road, if we're looking on a Day Street, it's a different section, right? But I was primarily thinking, we're set up a little bit differently. So we would have to have a different design and different thinking and different approach than they would.
Very good. Any other questions?
I think this has already been pushed through by them.
They approved it, yes. It's, I think it gets effective
Without much.
next week.
And there wasn't much resident or business pushback from what I've read or heard. It was kind of just.
The planner said that this was all like when.
It's kind of coincided with the Day Street. When anything tries to change over there, any business tries to move, there's always hatred toward the redevelopment of that area.
Except for a parking lot.
Well, I'm just saying, even on what's that, Willard Ave, there's pushback on trying to just beautify a business like the 66, Phillips 66. How many people came out against them just trying to change the look of their building a little bit to bring it up to, current standard. That's why I think this is, what we have is 2 separate, unfortunately wrapped around residential, where they're trying to push the residential into where there used to be industrial and manufacturing.
Okay, very good. We'll keep an eye on it. And if some of the things that they're doing doesn't match our area, then we need to be independent and do what's right for the town of Newington in our TOD area.
Let me correct that. And I'm not making the stance of why we want to watch this, that we should do what they're doing. I am not saying that at all. What I'm saying is we have to watch it so that we can evolve and continue to grow with what we have. This is a prime example of how they've continued to grow.
I agree. All right. If there's no other questions, we'll go to public participation. If there's anybody within the Zoom application, raise your hand if you'd like to participate during public participation. If you're calling into Zoom meetings by telephone, dial *9 to raise your hand to be recognized. Use *6 when recognized to speak by telephone. And please state your name and address. Is there anyone on the line? Their hands up. Okay. Anybody wishing to speak? All right, hearing none, if there's no objection. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.